Okay, right now I will continue reading the novel The Beast's Heart by Shallcross. Okay, let's go. Now I had come after her. I saw her dress was not, as I had thought, a sumptuous gown of satin and brocade. Up close, I could see is what constructs us of clouds cobwebs and the velvet wings of its moths. It was not embroidered with pearls and diamonds, but decorated with the tiny bones of small animals and glittering with spiders' eyes. The veil was no veil, but a drifting coat of tiny insects, glimmering with their own milky iridescence. I hangs down, my hackles rising in fear. My hackles rising in fear, and she turns in to look at me. I could not see her expression, but her eyes gleamed in the darkness, green as a cat. Terrified, I hid my face. When I looked again, the gate was open, and she was some distance away from me, walking between the cracked columns. I did not want to put my paws through that gate, but as my eyes followed her, my gaze fell upon the dark gate shape of ruins building far ahead. Something about its lilac misshapen halts called to me. Misshapen halts called to me, and I crept forward. I lost sight of the woman for some minutes. Then I slogged along the overgrown path. I spied her again. She was no longer ahead of me, but walking far away, to sight of the Rhine ahead. I hesitated, unsure if I should follow her, or my growing compulsion to see what lay amid the broken walls. By the light of by the light of glossy glimmer, she cast about herself. I saw her walks beneath, and a cravey in a tall head. I could see nothing but trees beyond. My heart quailed. What could lead through the portal? But the forest. I did not want to back there. I turned away from the fading smudge of light. I turned away from the fading smudge of light and started again towards Shallcross building looming distant against the night sky. The pathways to and fro amongst trees, strings, drag shape was different to any forest tree I had been, and yet eerily familiar with every step I took. I ceased of screaming, Annie's grave in my peace. Then the path made another twist, and before me lay the Rhine crater I had been from the gate. Within its roofless, crumbling walls, burning brand includes a scan of the beast, the cabousserie. Bodies written and danced. I crawled around the figure of a man, who stood among them, his chest open, and his hair wild. In his hand he held a bottle glinting amber in the firelight. His eyes shone with a mad light, and his face was grey with a face of illness. Pain lanes through my heart. Pain lanes through my heart. I know him. I know him. I hate him. The anger I thought had died erupted into incandescence within me. Oh, sorry. Into incandescence within me, and I sprang forward, scattering. But my clothes entered me with nothing. I crossed heavily upon the stone floor and lay, reading and alone, amid the cold dark rain of the house in which I had been raised. Memories came folding back. Memories came folding back, a confused and bitter cacophony, with race and hatred at its heart. I threw back my head to hold, but the sounds that came out was a human scream. I jagged awake. I was in the forest. My hair paws scrabbled in the sudden mal- My hair paws scrabbled in the sudden mulch as I heaved myself upright. Nothing had changed. Everything had changed. I was still a broken, strafing piece. But I remember now. I remember what I had been, and how I had been transformed. I remember the fire cold, green eyes. Let all will touch apple to you see the nature of the heart beating in your breast. Was the curse she had laid upon me, and only now, with my arrogance trust and my race exalted. And my race exalted. Close I begin to see the truth of the words. But what good was any of it now? I was alone and close to death. I hooked my head at my feet, a pale, wet rocks glistened in the darkness. It was a curious, regular shape. Not far from it lay another, so similar as to be in the shell. I looked around, a short distance away. The rain house was a film of trees and mud from the ragged edge of rain. Cobble road. My head rose as the fear gripped me. Was I still dreaming? I was so sure I was awake. I spake forward, sniffing. I stepped forward, sniffing. There was an odd stank in the air. It took me a few moments to place the scan. Magic! I don't know how I know it, but I really know the scan had pervaded the forest as long as I had lived in it until now. However, the magic had been old and settled. This was fresh and new. With sudden clarity, I know I was not dreaming. Sirut was real. I know where it could take me, if I chose to follow it. I could, of course, choose not to. I could slink away into the forest and ignore it. Without a doubt, that would have spelled my death. I did not feel ready to take the path. I did feel too ready to return. But with death as the alternative, my flawless fear were no longer of any consequence. Consequence. I I not knowing what else to do. I stepped to, oh sorry, I stepped on, sorry, I sped into the path and began to follow it home.